Happy Friday to you all. This is your Long Canoe Outlook, and it's going to be an interesting one as we watch what's happening with two tropical systems off the East Coast, a strong high pressure coming down from Canada, and the interaction in us. We are the battle zone between that moisture making it our way and heavy rain down in the North Carolina region versus a drier high to the north. And that battle zone is going to bring some interesting weather. So first of all, today looks nice. Highs around 80. It's going to be pretty humid out there, but dry conditions, and that's fine. Tomorrow, at some point, rain's going to come in and enter the forecast. Temperatures drop way down into the low to mid 70s, so much cooler than today. Those low to mid 70s will stick around through Wednesday next week, and then we could even get cooler. Highs only in the 60s and nighttime lows well into the 40s. So finally, some real chillier air coming in by next weekend, and then we're going to watch whether or not we're going to have moisture or not. And I'll show that really quickly here on the models. When the rain comes in tomorrow will be questionable, but I'm concerned for those wanting to do the air show that's going to impact our weather to a point where maybe the planes can't fly. We'll have to see. All right, so moisture is going to increase here during the day tomorrow, and then by afternoon for sure it looks like there's some showers will be around. This is consistent with both now the European and the American model. Those short-term models don't show things until later, maybe not as impressive. We'll just have to watch. Here is the hurricane that our tropical system is going to form off the East Coast. We'll have to see what it does because it's going to kind of head due northwest, and here's the other one on its heels. So this is an interesting situation because you get a little bit of what they call a Fujiwara, where this low could help pull this low closer to the coast, and I think the East Coast in general is just going to have some really bad time, and we've got moisture galore coming into play. So we'll keep going forward, and both models now show a South Carolina hit from this future storm here, and so it's going to be kind of crazy. So what we're going to see, so this is Umberto already. It's already a hurricane. So it's moving from the southern Atlantic. This that forms will be a Melda. And Melda is the one that could come on shore near South Carolina coast. And you can see it's trying to kick rain up in this area. I don't know how much is going to make it up here. We'll have to see. It does eventually come on shore. Rain does make it up our way. How much rain will be interesting. But you can see there's a lot of what we call, it's confluence because it's a really strong gradient between system to the north, a high that seems to be dropping down here, and the slow to the south. It's going to cause some strong easterly winds. So we're cloudy and cooler and going to get breezy as soon as like Monday, Tuesday of next week. We'll see easterly flow and temperatures cooler. Again, there is interaction between these, and it's going to funnel up moisture in our direction. The question again is just how much and how far north it makes us. The heavier rain looks like it's going to stay just to our south. And then here comes the high from the north. It's going to really squeeze this out. It's going to squeeze this to the southwest and kind of cut it off. And the Umberto will go out into the ocean. Has me concerned about the mountains of North Carolina again because it just doesn't look good. Ultimately, the high to the north is just going to win out and really wedge itself east of the mountains. You're going to see this bending lines of pressure in the high, and the cooler air is going to sink down south and really push all this moisture even further south. And yes, our breezes and winds are going to definitely kick up. So breezy days coming next week if this comes true by Wednesday, Thursday, and then much cooler air as well, especially at night. This high sticks around and holds its own for quite a while, but once it starts moving and shifting over top of us into the east, we're going to get into more of a southwest flow, so temperatures should warm up pretty substantially. And then this says that the low that was left over, the remnants, could come back up and give us some more rain in the very long term. I think it's going to be very hard for us to know. After this moves out, this is a strong low, so this is a lot of wind over top of us. This is true. But this is some strong, what we call return flow coming up. In the middle part of the country, it's just going to roast in warmth. And that warmth should head our way as well and the long range. So this is our shot at cooler air, and then we'll have to see. And then way down the road, it's hard to say. All right, so what does it look like on the temperature anomaly-wise? It's really interesting. I'm going to go through this very, very fast. Remember, I'm looking at the upper levels temperatures, which obviously translate to cooler at the coast, at the surface. But they'll even be cooler because the winds will be coming off the ocean. So as we go forward in time, pretty warm. And this warmth sticks around tomorrow, But we do cool off some because of the showers of moisture and the winds coming off the ocean. So that's what's going to cool us down. You see this big warm up here in the middle part of the country. But watch as this comes up and starts yanking this cooler air from the north down, and it just squashes it ultimately. So you see it kind of get warm here, but then as we get late in the period, here comes the high to the north, and it shoots down the cooler air in our direction. So by later Thursday, Friday next week, we get that shot of much cooler air. I mean, this is really cool air. We're talking like, 6, 7 degrees in the upper atmosphere. That's chilly. Could we see 30 somewhere? Maybe. Just depends on the moisture in the mountains, I think, would be the best shot. But that's really below normal temperatures. But as I mentioned, that ultimately kind of fizzles out, and then we get the return flow. And, well, we get a little bit of another shot of cooler air. It looks like later in the period before then the warmth returns. So we'll have to see, because exactly how this works out, we'll see. If this comes true, this looks like a big warm-up in the long range, and finally huge Rocky Mountain cool down, probably snow. And a good shot of snow out there in the higher elevations. All right, really quick, just to give us the Europeans look at both the storm here. Let's go again to the surface and precipitation and the rates and stuff. I think it's important just to get a balance. So again, here we go with the rain this weekend. So we'll see that move through some on Saturday, and it's a little more impressive here on the European. And here we got Umberto, and that is a deep, deep low pressure, so this could be a very strong hurricane if it comes true before Imelda really gets its act together. Imelda does get its act together ultimately and become probably a tropical system and maybe a hurricane here right at the end. And it kind of pauses and just hangs out here on the European. Just a very strange. It's going to batter the coast if this comes true. This is a very deep hurricane to its east. So this is a very strong hurricane on the European. We'll have to see if that comes true. Ultimately, Umberto moves out, and then we have the remnants here of Imelda. Imelda kind of keeps itself together and strengthens. You see the high pushing down and keeping it way far south of our area and us really dry for the short term, but then that high moves off because it's stalled. It allows that moisture to come up into our region and gives us a lot more precipitation. Ultimately, when it moves out, we'll warm back up, and that's what's going on before this next cold shot, which looks like it's now consistent between both the European and the American model, that there's going to be another cool shot here in long range, at least for a bit, before then we warm up. All right, so what does that mean precipitation-wise? Well, right now, Weather Prediction Center has, as you would expect, the core of the heavier rain just to our south, which I think is important to note that it's just to our south. It could get shifted even further south. We'll have to see. But through the next 7 days, you see we're about an inch, inch and a half. Not too far away. We get in the 2 to 3 to 4 inch range. And again, this could shift further north, or it could shift further south. My gut says further south, and maybe we won't get quite as much of this rain. And some of this, remember, is coming on Saturday, and not just next week, but not as much. There's still a chance that the way things work out, that we could get more rain or even more rain into the further extended, depending on which model you believe. All right, y'all, that's it. That was a big, long thing. I say if you're along the southeast coast, you better be preparing now for what looks like very unsettled weather, a lot of days of rain and wind, regardless of whether or not it even comes from the tropical system that's high to the north. Squeezing against that stuff is going to cause a lot of onshore flow, beach erosion, high winds, bad seas. Just does not look good. Hope you're not going on a cruise or anything off the East Coast. Have a good Friday and through the weekend. Not sure I'll have another outlook this long, but this was an important one to cover.